the Lions have not been, they've not kept secrets regarding kind of their overall strategy. But as the Lions inch closer to being relevant in regards to being Super Bowl contenders, many people thought and were hoping that the team would be in a position to maybe spend a little bit more in free agency. They did make a splash with the addition of DJ Reed spending, $16 million per season, but that was the only basically big splash the team made. And Brad Holmes was asked, okay, what's kind of the overall reasoning and give us your thoughts about free agency. And what Brad Holmes indicated, which everybody kind of understood, is that the Lions are facing some big extensions coming up with Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, and in the future as well, in the upcoming seasons, they have some extensions that they have to consider and weigh, deciding who to pay, whether it be Jameson Williams, Brian Brandt, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. There are players that are on this roster that are going to need some hefty cash moving forward. So the free agency splashes are probably not going to happen in 2025 and in 2026 because of the extensions. And Brad Holmes put that out there. Do you agree or disagree? Because as many times as he's been asked, are you one player away? Do you feel like you need to load up assets? The Lions are standing firm that free agency spending is to round out needs and is not going to be a situation in which the team is going to load up to acquire external options.
Well, I think with how well they've drafted, I think that makes that whole process and thought process okay. I think that when you look at what the Lions have done through the draft over the last several years, they've brought in all-pro talents. They've had 3 guys that they've drafted earn first-team all-pro honors in the last 2 years in terms of Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and now Kirby Joseph most recently as well. And the fact of the matter is they're going to have to pay to keep these guys, and they've already done that with St. Brown and Sewell, but now you're talking about Hutchinson, Joseph, potentially Jameson Williams, and we'll get into that whole situation in a little bit. But I think that when you look at where the Lions are from a cap perspective, they don't have the resources to go out and get these free agent external guys at 4 years, $100 million. And I think Dan Campbell kind of touched on that Tuesday when he talked about the fact that, hey, the one difference with free agency is we don't know these guys. We don't know what they're about. And you can only learn so much in a phone call or a free agency interview with some of these guys that they would think about bringing in. And so I understand why the Lions are going the route they're going in terms of we're going to do this thorough work. We're going to find prospects that we like and we trust in the draft. We're going to draft them and develop them and then retain them and then use free agency to fill in the gaps. And I think that process has worked for them so far, and we'll see if it's sustainable. I think that the next 2 off seasons are going to be big testing points for the Lions theory because they're going to try to re-sign all these guys that they drafted, and you're not going to be able to go out and fill these voids with big name free agents. So we'll see whether or not this process is sustainable. And I think the biggest thing for the Lions moving forward is right now over the cap has them with only $5.37 million in cap space for 2026. So they don't have the resources to go out and make all these huge moves and bring in external faces. So I think when we look at the Lions down the road, this offseason and next offseason and how they manage and maneuver this is going to tell a lot about the future success of the organization.